Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Joao Araujo from Portugal, and I'm going to present you the work entitled Towards a Non-Functional Requirements Discovery Approach for Persuasive Systems. This was the result of collaboration between myself and Nelly Condori-Fernandez from Spain, Alejandro Catalá, also from Spain, and Patricia Lago from the Netherlands. We know that there are some software systems whose aim is to help behavioral change in order to promote health conditions of the workers. These kind of systems are called behavior change support systems, which are basically persuasive systems. What have been noticed is that these systems failed to satisfy the users, to promote a sustainable user experience. And that happened because the users are reluctant to respond to the activation of system change demands. So, which are basically the purpose of BCS systems. A negative user experience revealed that the developers fail to identify, to capture, to elicit the right requirements for BCSS systems. So what we aim here is to get to find out the right requirements to compose the persuasion strategies. So, for example, imagine you have this system. Actually, it's based on the existing one, the work rave, that promotes micro pauses in order to the workers to perform exercises to help with the posture and to avoid back pain, for example. But the way that they are built, they kind of disturb the tasks of the users, especially when there are some tasks that cannot be interrupted. So that leads to some negative use experience. So our concerns here is to promote an approach that encourages the identification of the right requirements for BCSS. For that, we are going to use the Persuasive System Design model, which is basically the theoretical framework for the design for the configuration of empirical user experience assessment in order to discover our requirements that are needed for the BCSS to be successful. So for this intended framework, we propose a process for requirement discovery, and in order to based on negative user experience, new requirements can be identified in order to redesign the software system, the BCSS. So our aim is to increase awareness of the developers, to realize and to help them to find out the right non-functional requirements. Our PSD model consists of the premises, context, and the features. Concerning the premises, what those ones that are relevant for BCSS are, first one, they must be useful, they must be user-friendly, they shouldn't disturb the user when performing tasks, they must be open, they guarantee cognitive consistency, they must be incremental, the persuasion should go stepwise. Information, the technology, uh, uh, they always influence the attitudes and behavior, so the system must take that into account. And also, they should consider direct and indirect routes for persuasion strategies. About the categories, there are four: prime active support, dialogue support motivate users to use BCSS, perceived system credibility, and social influence to so that it motivates users by leveraging different aspects of social influence. So these are the our categories and the specific features that can be listed for each category. For example, for primary task support, we may have as features personalization, self-monitoring, and simulation. For dialogue support, we can have rewards and reminders. For credibility support, we may have authority, trustworthiness, verifiability. For social support, we can have cooperation, recognition, and social learning. So this is our framework in a nutshell. So it's basically composed of user experience assessment and requirements discovery. For the user experience assessment, we start with the identification of unfulfillment of needs. And from the observation of negative user experience of an existing system, we may identify the effects of that. All these will be the base for the identification of our non-functional requirements. Some methods that can help with the user experience assessment is the use of attitudinal evaluations methods, like for example, user experience questionnaires. Behavior evaluations methods can also be applied, but we are going to focus on the attitudinal evaluations. So here we show the process in more detail, the framework in more detail. So we start with the first step, which is identifying unfulfilled user needs. And for that, we are going to assess the user experience through the application of questionnaires. Then we migrate for the second step, where the information that's collected is going to be mapped into the premises of the PSD model, and then we derive the non-functional requirements. And next, you make use of the user feedback to that can be categorized and mapped to the PSD categories, which are primary test support, dialogue support, credibility support, and social support, and choose the specific features of each of these categories. And the features that were selected can be part of the non-functional requirements set as well. Okay, so here you come to the conclusions. So we showed the PSD model as a way to guide the user experience assessment and also to promote the requirement discovery. We illustrate the steps based on negative user experience to discover the non-functional requirements. And I think we highlighted the importance of user experience assessment to find user needs and map all these needs into non-functional requirements. We believe also that we contributed to the body of empirical knowledge about the use of user experience in requirements engineering. And we hope that this approach that was presented be useful as a base for future studies with the aim to discover new requirements from a user experience evaluation. Thank you very much. So we're ready for the questions.